Alright, this is part two of my ranking video game things. Um, it has not taken us as long as I thought to do like one episode. So anyway, uh, now we've talked about Pokemon Emerald, Black 2, and Conquest. Now we're gonna talk about Pokemon Y, which is I think the second Pokemon game that I played after Black. Um, all right, let's address the elephant in the room. This game's easy. This game is really, really easy. So easy, some people say, that it's not fun. And you might or might not know this, but I prioritize fun over all else when I play a video game. If I'm having fun, then chances are I like the video game. This F is supposed to be capitalized. Um, and yeah, but Pokemon like none of the gym leaders in Pokemon Y have more than three Pokemon. That's weird, isn't it? It's really, really weird. And it makes it even more easy than it already is. And it's already easy because you get two starters, and the EXP yields in this game, so just the amount of EXP you get from enemies, is very, very large. And it introduced a thing where you can just IV train, or sorry, EV train, effort value train, to increase your stats without having to fight Pokemon. That makes it really nice. That's really, although I don't know if that just makes it easier. It does make it easier, but not as much as people say it does. It's really just quality of life for competitive, right? Anyway, um, one other thing about Generation 6 in general that a lot of people rag on it for is that um, competitive Generation 6, I'm not going to pretend it was the worst generation for competitive. People complain, non-competitive Pokemon players say, competitive is terrible because you can't use your favorite Pokemon. You can only use the select few Pokemon. That was so much more so in Generation 6 than in any other generation. Because you had the Xerneas, the Primal Groudon, Primal Kyogre, Mega Kangaskhan, Mega Gengar, um, and some others. I'm not going to just talk about that for too long. Some others, and that was it. That's pretty annoying if you ask me. So really really isn't great. But you know what? When I played this game, I thought to myself, wow, this reminds me of Fire Emblem 8, spoiler alert, Fire Emblem 8, where it's just so easy that I can use whatever Pokemon I want and still succeed and still have fun at the same time. I mean, obviously you don't use Pokemon Fire Emblem 8, but you know what I'm talking about. It's easy, and that adds customizability. Customizability is great in a video game because it adds accessibility. And accessibility, very good for your video game. So I'm not a game developer. I'm not pretending to be, but I it's not my TLDR. Fire Pokemon Y is good. It's all right, you know. I'm not gonna put it in the same tier as Black, but I definitely enjoyed it. All right, now we're gonna talk about Pokemon Tournament, which is my favorite Pokemon game. The end. That's not the end. I'm kidding. But I like fighting games. I even though I'm in that weird midpoint where I can beat all my friends, but cannot stand to a Pokemon competitive person, even though that's the case, in most fighting games, I'm gonna enjoy what I'm doing. I loved Pokemon Tournament when it was a thing, and I mean, it's still a thing, and technically I still play it sometimes. But seeing Pokemon actually fighting each other using moves and not just, playing RPG style, that's special to me. It's very nice. Um, and that's all really all I'm gonna say. I just kind of like the game without needing to elaborate on it. Sorry, all you Pokemon Tournament haters. All right, Legend of Zelda, probably the first Nintendo franchise I ever legitimately liked because I was pretty small when I played my first game, which was Minish Cap. All right, um, Link's Awakening. I have not finished it, so I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna put it right here actually. Um, I gotta say, I'm not gonna get sappy. I'm not gonna pretend. I'm not gonna. But I gotta say, some my favorite video games are video games with a story that leaves a message. You know, and one of those games is Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening tells you, hey, you're never gonna play a Zelda game. You're never gonna play Link's Awakening for the first time twice. This is your only first time playing. You gotta cherish it while it's here. You gotta enjoy it while it lasts. And when you wake up that windfish and all the island goes away, that's the end. And deal with it. I'm not good at expressing emotion. Again, I'm not gonna pretend like I am. But Link's Awakening not only does it have a good story, but it has a good gameplay as well. I like how I preferred the deluxe edition over any of the other editions. Um, because in that game, there's a lot of strategy. Because you're not always having the sword and the Pegasus boots equipped. You gotta remember how to do everything. You gotta get the Pegasus boots and the Roc's cape, for example, so you can jump far. There's just a lot more strategy in the older versions, and that's nice. And I prefer, controversial warning, I prefer linear Zelda games. I like them to be linear, and video games in general. I like them to be linear. Because it lets me have more fun. I don't have fun when all I'm doing is walking around trying to find what to do. All right. With that being said, this is a very linear game, and that's good for me. It makes me enjoy it more. And that's kind of all I'm gonna say. Minish Cap. Um, again, I'm not gonna put it there yet. Minish Cap is my first Zelda game. I got Minish Cap and Twilight Princess. Minish Cap. I'm not gonna pretend like it has a good story. It really doesn't. It's really hollow. I don't like the partner character. I don't like just the characters in general. But that's kind of the only things I don't like about this game. Oh, except for that one segment where it's really open world. You have to figure out what to do next after you, in between. Never mind. Figure out for yourself. Um, but Minish Cap is honestly, considering that I don't like the art style of Link Between Worlds, Triforce Heroes, and the Link's Awakening remake, and whatever that new Zelda game is going to come out later, Echoes of Wisdom. Considering I don't like those art styles, to me, the Minish Cap is definitive 2D Zelda in gameplay and in art style. Because I'm a 16-bit man. I love 16-bit. But I love the gameplay in general. I like how you only have two buttons. Two buttons is nice. Um I like the sword. I like how it has a sweeping arc as opposed to like the original Zelda where it's like just a thrust, and also just some other Zeldas. I like it when it sweeps more, and that's in most Zelda games, to be honest. But I like that. I like the new items. Nobody does except for me. I like the new items with like the Rock's cape as opposed to the Rock's feather in this game. I called it the Rock's cape earlier, but it's the Rock's feather. I like the Rock's cape. I like the what else is new? Give me a second. It's been a hot minute since I played this game. I like the new items. All right, I like the new items. Um, I just when I play Minish Cap, I have a fun time. I I can I can just zone out when there are cutscenes going on, and then I play the game. It's great. I love the mechanic of the game where you just turn tiny and whatever, and then I like how that ties into the kinstones, which is if you don't know, just these nice rocks. If you and an NPC have matching kinstones, you can eh, you can something good will happen. Now, I'm not a perfectionist. I don't 100% games. So I don't care that if for an 100% person you have to go to every NPC multiple times and it's really annoying. But that doesn't matter to me. I'm a casual player, and so I like those things. And I enjoy Minish Cap, so I'm gonna put it right up here, right up here. Twilight Princess. Oh boy, Twilight Princess. I'm just gonna say out the bat, it's my favorite 3D Zelda game. I know it's a fan favorite. I know this isn't really a controversial pick anymore, but I could say a lot about Twilight Princess. I almost said 21 Pilots. I could say a lot about Twilight Princess. I could make a whole retrospective if I were better at writing scripts. I mean, I'm not writing a script. I don't write scripts, but if I wrote scripts, I could make a 2 hour video about this one game because it has so much going for it. It's not a rehash of Ocarina. Well, it's not a rehash of Ocarina of Time. It's proud to be something else, something different. Because people who say it's a rehash of Ocarina of Time are terribly mistaken. Terribly, I almost called them deluded. um, if you do, you're wrong. I'm not afraid to say that. Just reconsider for a moment. Think of all the differences between Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess. All the items, the all the characters, everything else. Yeah, there are similarities. Like the Ordon village is literally just Kokiri village, Kokiri forest. But think of everything else. Think of the message of the game. The message of the game is completely different. Ocarina of Time is about growing up. Twilight Princess is about how dangerous power can be. Think about what else can you think about? Ganondorf. Think about how different Ganondorf is in this game. In this game, in Ocarina of Time, Ganondorf was this dude who manipulated Hyrule and wants to destroy it for no real reason whatsoever. In Twilight Princess, Ganondorf is trying to get revenge on the sages and on the Twilight and whatever, and he's trying to take advantage of the Twilight to get revenge on the sages and things because they tried to execute him. But Ganondorf had the Triforce and he wasn't executed, so he tried to get revenge. Um, think of all these things that make it different. Now think to yourself, wow, Twilight Princess really is different. I mean, I can't control what you, I don't have control over what you think, but it really is different. I want you to understand that. And for all these reasons and more about the gameplay, how I like linear games, Twilight Princess, pair all of that again with the dungeons. Twilight Princess has the best dungeons of any Zelda game at all. I'm surprised this is the first time I bring up dungeons, but it has the best dungeons ever. Think about the city in the sky. Think about Snow Peak. Think about the first dungeon. I guess the first dungeon wasn't that good, but I am a person who actually likes the Lake Bed Temple. There we go, controversial warning. I like the Lake Bed Temple. I like it. And I like every dungeon. I at least like every dungeon in this game except for the Goron Mines. And nobody likes the Goron Mines. So, for all these reasons and more, gotta put it right here. I can't put it right here because Pokemon Tournament is my favorite video game. But that's gonna be all for this episode. Maybe I was right. Maybe this is gonna take a lot of episodes, but I'll see you in the next one.